104.5 The Team, your home for New York sports. We haven't talked to this guy in a while, but you've probably heard him all over the place. Blowing up, Geoff Schwartz. How have you been, man?
I've been good. I've been enjoying retired life.
I find it amazing that you're still retired after watching the first two Giants games. Everybody blames the offensive line. Do you?
It's been a problem. It's the same kind of guys, right? Eric Flowers hasn't played well. Bobby Hart got hurt last night, and Justin Pugh's out of position. So, the problem is when you end up moving two guys for one position, you end up putting Justin Pugh out of position, who's a really good guard, and then Brett Jones, obviously, who's young and at left guard, and you have trouble, and they're not running the ball well, and just a lot of things aren't going well for the offense. No rhythm.
Geoff Schwartz with us, offensive lineman for both the Giants and a cup of coffee with the Lions. Eric Flowers, a lot of people saying now the Giants should just give up, move him to right tackle, move him off the team, whatever. You played, you saw him. What do you see in him? Could he still be a left tackle?
I don't think so. But then again, I'm not really sure that he can be a right tackle either. I don't know why it's just assumed that a poor player at one position of offensive line can just move to another position and be fine. A lot of the problem is technique, and that doesn't just change moving to a different position.
Well, how do the Giants figure that out? It's week 3 now heading into the season. All of a sudden you just toss him out in practice and get him reps there? Can there be an adjustment made mid-season in that position?
No, this is the team that they have. There's not many teams have depth along the offensive line. You can't just make changes like that, and they're going to have to find ways to help their tackles or do something with their scheme or move Eli's launch point or throw some screens or run the ball better. I mean, at this point, there's nothing they can do. As far as I'll say nothing they can do as far as personnel-wise, I should say. Like there's not anyone they can bring in and save the day.
Okay, but you brought up the run game, and I've been preaching this, and maybe it's because I've been talking to you for a couple years now. If you want to make your line better, you run the ball. Let them get mean. Let them push people around, right?
Right, but the Giants have just not really been committed to running the football recently, and I don't know why. I mean, Coughlin's teams obviously did that, and I'll tell you this, though. A lot of coaches who call plays, whether it's a head coach or the OC, they love to throw the football. And the first opportunity that you give them as an offensive line, basically, by not running the ball well, the opportunity to throw the ball, they will take it. And if you start a game out by not running the ball well, a lot of OCs will just start throwing the ball because that's what they know best. That's how they'll find ways to generate offense. And it's upon the offensive line. It's not just a Giants thing. It's really for any offensive line that you run the ball at least well early. That doesn't mean you have to score touchdowns or break long games, but you get 2 or 3 yards, you get 4 yards, you get 5 yards. You're moving the line of scrimmage. You have safety makes a play here and there. Guys that are out of your control. Those runs will eventually break out. But when you are -1, -2, no gain, 1 yard game, the OC is going to stop calling run plays.
How much does that have to do with the offensive line, but also a combination of who is in the backfield? Sometimes you might have a good enough running back where an offensive lineman misses an assignment or a block, and they're just a freak enough athlete that they can go get the first down. Could the running back position be maybe where they go out and make a trade, add personnel, and hope that improves the upfront guys?
Well, I like Orleans Darkwa. Every time he comes in the game, he does well. He did it all the way back in 2016 when I played with him. Last night he had, I think, the longest run of the game for the Giants off the left edge. He does some good job. I think he needs to get more reps.
Geoff Schwartz with us right now, of course, 8-year NFL offensive lineman, doing just about everywhere you turn on a radio or a podcast, you'll hear him nowadays, the guy blowing up. The one thing I look at, and look, I might just be nitpicking at this point, Geoff, Jerry Reese goes out and gets like the smallest tight end in the draft when you know that at best your left tackle is developmental. How much of this goes on the GM?
Well, the tight end has nothing to do with Eric Flowers. Evan Ingram was brought in to help against cover 2. He was not brought in to block. They brought in, they brought in Rhett Ellison to do that. The Eric Flowers pick, that's in hindsight was not a good pick. He had a lot of flaws, and this is not an indictment on really the Giants because I think that we have to change, and I include myself in that because I obviously evaluate offensive linemen now for a living, but you have to change the way that you evaluate offensive linemen coming out of college now, because guys are less ready technically, and you have less time to practice now. So Eric Flowers and Greg Robinson, some of these guys who were drafted high but haven't really improved very much, are good cases to show that now with less practice time, drafting a guy with huge upside might not be beneficial. You might want to draft a guy with a little less upside, but a guy who's ready to play now.
Why are they less ready than before? Is it because of the styles of offense in college?
Yes. They are. The techniques are different than what you learn in the NFL. Guys just aren't programmed to finish as well in college, because your job really is to just get to the line of scrimmage and have another play. And guys are not really finishing as well. So there's a lot of technique just and little nuances that are missing when rookies come into the NFL.
Geoff Schwartz with us right now on 104.5 The Team, Levack and Goz. So Jeff, as you look at this Giants team, be realistic. What's the ceiling?
Look, I mean, teams that start 0-2 since 1990 and made the playoffs 12% of the time. It happened last year with the Dolphins, I believe. It happened in 2015 with the Seahawks. As big as a must-win game can happen on week 3, I mean, this is what it is for this weekend against the Eagles. The Giants have the last 10 years have not played well in Philly. This game is going to be raucous. The Eagles have a very good front seven. The Giants will have their work cut out for them.
So let me ask you the question that I've actually been getting on Twitter. Is there any chance you'll come back and be the savior?
Oh, no.
Come on, Schwartzy, come on.
I'm way done. I'm okay with that.
But they need you, man. We need you.
I love doing what I'm doing. I don't miss it at all.
When was the last time you got a call from anybody just like feeling you out to see if you might be interested?
I got none last year, so not a year and a half.
That's amazing to me. I mean, you are 8 years in the NFL. You're and maybe I'm one of your biggest fans because I've watched what this line is like without you. That shocks me that nobody's calling. I would call you.
Thank you. No, I just I was old. I got older. My ankle wasn't the same, and it was tough the first couple of weeks last year that no one really called. But then I got over it, and I'm fine being at home now, seeing my family every day, not getting beat up, and talking football.
Yeah, how nice is it to not be on a scooter?
Oh man, that thing. Oh, it's so nice.
Jeff, what are you working on? What are you working on right now? I know you got the Block 'Em Up podcast, and a lot of my stuff now is on Twitter, man. It's at Geoff Schwartz with a G, Geoff. I write for SB Nation. I'm working on something actually on Trevor Siemian right now, the Broncos quarterback, touchdown Trevor Siemian. It's really good so far this year. I put out a lot of videos on Twitter. I do radio on Sirius and ESPN radio, and I keep myself busy. The podcast actually is not as big of a deal right now. Just I don't have time for it, and I kind of do daily periscopes now, so I kind of find ways to get my word out there without doing that podcast. Schwartz, man, we appreciate you making time for us. I know you're busy, and if there's ever anything we can do, let us know. And please, if the Giants do call, at least hear them out.
Okay, I will. No problem.